Blockchain Summit, talking to Max Kops. So what are your expectations from this conference?
I think we have a lot of attendees and we have a great network, and Malta is a space that's doing a lot for the blockchain, and they are issuing the new regulations tomorrow. So I guess there's a lot of knowledge to gain here, especially from the legal perspective and from what Malta is doing for the blockchain space. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So do you think it's a great impact to the industry in general, what Malta does for blockchain?
Definitely, definitely. There are many places on the world right now capturing that, especially the ICO and STO regulations, and Malta is doing really straightforward for the ICO part, and I'm really looking forward to meet the people here on Malta.
And why is Malta the perfect place for this kind of events?
I think they have the environment here, they have the people, and Malta is doing a great PR, so everybody knows that Malta is a place for ICOs. It's not the only one, but it's one of the ones that are doing a great PR, and it's widely known. So many people come here, and the environment is set. Like when I arrived in Malta, I already saw a lot of advertisements for blockchain, for crypto. And this is something that in Germany, for example, you would never see unless you go to Berlin. But on Malta, the whole island is covered of blockchain.
Actually, right there. So talking about Germany, how do you assess the situation, development of blockchain technologies in your country?
I think it's a bit tricky because the regulation is unclear right now. So we have different opinions from the financial authority and from the highest court that recently took a decision that Bitcoin might not be a financial instrument, while others claim it is. So it's really unclear, and this is a problem because startups and companies don't know how to deal with it. They don't know which regulation they fall under and which licenses they need. So they always have the problem that they could face any regulation coming into place later, and then they would have a big problem. That's an issue. This is why many people go for offshore countries or for Malta as a place to incorporate.
And are there any positive achievements in this sphere in Germany?
Yes, definitely. So right now people are building up their knowledge to put it more into the legal context. So for example, we have the Bundesblock. It's an organization that's trying to put it more into the regulatory part. It's trying to do PR and media to just bring it into a more regulated framework, because this is what we are lacking currently. And this organization, they try to capture all the people that are into the space and bring them together with the regulators. I see banks and financial institutions, they try to adopt it and they're really diving into it. But this is a different part. They are adapting the blockchain as a technology behind, so the customer doesn't see it. But the innovative stuff like ICOs, token sales and STOs, they are really kept behind, or they are put into offshore countries because we are lacking the regulation, and people are just afraid that they get threatened after they do something because the situation is unclear, and that's really keeping the progress back right now.
When will we see the EU as something to regulate this whole thing?
So what we see now is that all the different countries have different approaches and different regulations for the cryptocurrencies, and especially ICOs. So for example, if you go to Netherlands, it's completely different than in Germany. And this is of course not what you want if you have the European Union. So I think we need a regulation that's more widespread and that helps to get a better framework. The states shall still decide in the details, but we need a framework for the European Union that gives the states a matter of aligning their regulation on that. And this is what is currently lacking. But in 2019, I think it could be happen that they smoothen the regulations of different countries, because currently it's really different. And then I hope that there will be a framework which is binding for all the countries.
What can be done in your opinion for countries that are having problems with regards to blockchain adoption?
I think they just need to find a framework where they could put it in, because many people compare cryptocurrencies to financial assets, some compare it to just a matter of payment, and it's really different what they do, and the problem is that people can never be sure. So it's not that a regulation is good or bad, it's just that you don't know what it is. Even if it's bad, it's better to know what you can do and what you can't do. So what I expect from the countries is to launch a concrete framework where everybody can see which actions he can do in the space and what licenses he needs.
So what is crypto?
So cryptocurrencies, if you just cover this aspect of the blockchain technologies, for me is a matter of payment and a matter of storing value. So you can pay with it, you can keep it as a value storing place, and it has some advantages compared to other assets because, for example, if you take Bitcoin, it has a limited amount of coins, and this is something you don't have with typical fiat money, and therefore it's useful for using it as a payment method and to store volume.
In your opinion, is BTC still a store of value?
In my opinion, it truly is a store of value because you can put your money inside and you know how this currency works, and you actually have a lot more transparency than you have in other asset classes, like you have a fixed inflation, for example, and therefore you can store the value. The problem is, and this is what people argue why it's not, it's very volatile. So people think in the way of fiat money. They are not attached yet to pay in crypto and live their life in crypto, so apparently in their mind they are thinking in fiat money. And if you think in fiat money, it means the cryptocurrencies are very volatile, and therefore it's not a very secure store of value right now that gives you the opportunity to store it in a very fixed way because it's very volatile. But in general, from the technical way, it is.
How can trust be built in cryptocurrencies within just general people who don't know that much about it?
I think the space is really evolving. Like when I entered the blockchain space in 2013, there were no documents available about anything, and it was really hard to find resources to learn about the topic. You could only read the white papers, and right now it's moving into a much more open space, so you can find documents, you can find books, you can find information everywhere, and it's a matter of people diving into the space. So it's duty of everybody to read about it, because there's a lot of humor, especially for cryptocurrencies, also for ICOs and for STOs, and that's a problem because there's a very negative image. But most of the people, they just heard it from the media, and there was a lot of scam in the previous times due to scams in ICOs and STOs, and therefore I think we need to understand how we can order it into a place, like we can compare it to technologies we have used before. And many people just think that cryptocurrency is something that exists somewhere on the planet. They cannot really understand what it is, and that's what they lack. Like many people think it's a matter of investing in something, but at the end, for me, it's not like that. It's a matter of payment, and that's what many people don't know. So I think what really needs to be done is to cover this knowledge and bring it into the society.
And talking about scams, do you have your own method on how to differentiate currencies that are scams and those that are dangerous to invest in?
As you know, there were many scams, especially in the ICO space in 2017. And what I do is, of course, the special due diligence you can do, the general one, so you can check the people, you can check the company, you can check the register, you can check all the documents, if it's valid, if it's not fake. But this is just the general purpose. And it's interesting what people have as a definition of scam, because scam could be just like obvious fake documents, for example, but scam could also be projects that are just not promising or unsuccessful. So this is the second step I do. Like first I check all the basic documents, if this is fake already, and if it's not, I go to the second stage and I analyze everything. I analyze the knowledge of the team, their experience, their idea, and especially how they want to cover the market, because many people or many projects are focusing on the technical part, but what they lack is the market. And if you don't cover the market, you can have a nice decentralized application, but you will never bring it into users.
Yeah, so nowadays people just try to invest in cryptocurrencies just to get some quick cash and just leave, not to use it as actual money. And recently it has been a huge problem for the whole industry in general, just that's what causes volatility, right? When is the end of this huge wave of abusing the system?
In my opinion, you cannot have a lot of cryptocurrencies. You can have a lot of tokens that are covering different platforms you can use, but to have many cryptocurrencies doesn't make sense in my mind, because it doesn't bring any extra value. You have cryptocurrencies that are more anonymous, you have cryptocurrencies that are less anonymous, and all this stuff. But let's say there will be not more than 10 cryptocurrencies that will be ever used in a big way. And what people do is they just launch more and more cryptocurrencies just as a matter of payment, but there is no extra value. And at the end, the value of a cryptocurrency is also depending on the volume you have. And when you have more cryptocurrencies, the one with the most volume will win. And that's why Bitcoin is so popular. If you think of Bitcoin from a technical way, it might not be the best cryptocurrency, but since they started as the first one and the only one that was in place in 2008, this is the most known cryptocurrency, and it has the biggest volume, so it's the most used. And this is what is deciding about the success or unsuccess about the project. And that's why I also believe that there will be not many cryptocurrencies that will be successful at the end.
How many do you think will there be in general that are successful and trustworthy and people will want to invest in them to actually use this money?
I think if you just speak about cryptocurrencies as a currency, not as a token for a platform that you can use, it will be not more than 10 probably, because you have the different variations such as the dimension of anonymity and all this kind of stuff. So you will have different ones, it's not just one, but I think there would be not more than 10.
Could you name a couple that would be in that top 10?
I think Ether could be a one, because Ether originally doesn't state as a cryptocurrency, however, it's adopted widely and it has a use case apart from the cryptocurrency, which is really nice. Like you can use it for the platform of Ethereum, but you can also use it as a matter of payment. While Bitcoin is also just only a matter of payment, which is then a very different mindset. But I think those two are currently the best or the most likely ones to be adopted.